Hello, my name is Virgilio and today I will be discussing my topic of choice, which is Jackie Robinson and the major contributions he had during the civil rights movement, and how you can see his efforts still today as they were back then. How you see many athletes protesting and advocating for change. With that being said, I will be breaking this down into three parts. The first one being the civil disobedience charge that lead many to say that he was the first Rosa Parks. Second one being the breaking of the color line in 1945. And last but not least, tying this all together and how you can see this with athletes who are using their voice to signify strength, their platform. On 1944, July 6th, a young Jackie Robinson who was in the military sat next to a light-skinned woman. You see, this caused a problem with the bus driver. The bus driver came up to Jackie Robinson and told him to get to the back of the bus, get to the back of the bus. Jackie Robinson was not going. You see, Jackie Robinson understood that during World War II, they had desegregated the buses. So Jackie Robinson politely responded to the bus driver saying, "Fuck off." You see, that signified who Jackie Robinson was. Jackie Robinson was not a guy that you can just come and step on. He would let his voice be known, his 2 cents. Even if you didn't ask for it, you would hear this man's 2 cents. You see, this is a good thing. Yes, change. However, that man got arrested. He got charges pressed on him. You see, once the Negro press got wind of this and the NAACP got heard word of this, it was the talk of the town. They protested and protested and protested until Jackie Robinson was either found innocent or honorably discharged. And that's what happened. Jackie Robinson was honorably discharged. But these are one of those ordeals that had Jackie Robinson not been honorably discharged, then the general manager for the Brooklyn Dodgers, Branch Rickey, would not have signed Mr. Robinson. You see, it would have been another man and another number. You see, that's some of the things to think about. Crazy. But that brings me along to my next topic of discussion, which is the signing of Jackie Robinson in 1945, April 15th. April 15th, 1945. When Jackie Robinson signed, that signified the beginning of mass change. You have people who were big voices, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, who literally went up to this man and said that he made their jobs easier. Yes, a lot of people do not know that, but that is true. You see, Jackie Robinson's signing signified that I can do what a white man can do. You see, that made the African American culture look at this man as a hero. But whenever the white people saw this and people who were white in the MLB saw this, they were not going for it, not one bit. They called him nigger. They'd be like, "Nigger boy, you can't play in the league," and this and that, which was obviously false because my man was a force in the league. You see, Jackie Robinson was Jackie Robinson because he advocated while being a phenomenal athlete, like many of the athletes that I'm going to mention after this topic. You see, Jackie Robinson led them to 6 championships and 1 World Series. You see, Jackie Robinson was a phenomenal athlete and character. He is the person that was meant for this. That's the word of Branch Rickey. He's the man. He was not the best baseball player in the Negro League, but he knew that Jackie Robinson could have that impact that no other athlete could. You see? That brings me along to my next topic of discussion, how you can see the use of Jackie Robinson's platform back then, today, with all that's going on. You see, with all these racial prejudice, racial discrimination, and these issues, these topics that are finally being brought to light, and there's not much they can do about it. It's not like back then. Back then, they were lynching crazy. Now, with that being said, lynching has been replaced by police brutality, but that's another topic. You got athletes coming together and unifying strength. You got black and whites, like in the NFL, that they're locking arms. And they're saying that this is not America. We need change. You see, back then it was just Jackie Robinson, but Jackie Robinson started something that is going to be finished with us. It's crazy. That happened back in 1940s. You see, these are years in the past. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, you see, they are the leading factor in the NFL, the white man's game. You see, that it's change. Change is coming. You have LeBron James. Arguably, he opened a school for the kids of less unfortunate. You see, LeBron James and all these athletes coming together using the platform for something much better than just sports. See, when you start getting this unification of colors and unifications of athletes who are not afraid to be vocal with what's going on, that starts a chain of events. You see, change is coming, and it all started because of Mr. Robinson. You see, Jackie Robinson was just the perfect fit. He was vocal, a hothead. He would say his 2 cents. He would put in everything that was needed to be heard. And back then, people were just like, "Oh, I can't stand him, this and that." But now look at how much he's brought us together. And to conclude my speech, I would like to remember all the great things Jackie Robinson installed into the United States and the use of his platform. He showed us that if you know that there's some issues, then to speak out and let your voice be heard. You see, Mr. 42, Jackie Robinson, he was that character. You see, he showed us how to live. And for that, we thank Jackie Robinson.